The federal government is set to make an announcement that all new cars must be zero emissions by 2035. Justin Trudeau not only happy with destroying the Canadian economy, he's also got his sights on the electrical infrastructure. This from CTV News. Canada to announce all new cars must be zero emissions by 2035. This is, a short-sighted plan to try to save the planet, apparently, through making sure everyone in cold regions can't use their car when it's cold outside. Canada expects to announce this week that all new cars will have zero emissions by 2035. Senior government source said that Ottawa is set to unveil a new regulations in the latest example of countries around the world pushing for electrification. The new rules, they're not fixing the infrastructure. They're not setting up anything there. In fact, they're doing a disservice to Canadians across Canada by reducing what we can actually produce electricity with, making us more dependent on foreign countries and just look for rolling brownouts and blackouts. This is the way this is really going to be manifesting itself, and just the inaffordability of the average person in Canada to automobiles. We won't be able to get automobiles anymore in the future. The new rules, known as Electric Vehicle Availability Standard, wouldn't that sound so nice, would help ensure supply is available to the Canadian market and shorten wait times to get electric vehicles. Now, there's shortages of cars. By saying that they have to be electric doesn't make them more available. It just makes the other ones not available. It's really going to just bid up the price of used vehicles when new vehicles with internal combustion engines will not be allowed to be sold in Canada. Now, where are they going to go with that? Well, it looks like the European Union is pushing itself into a predicament by saying, we're going to scrap your cars. This is Peter Sweden on Twitter saying, this is crazy. The US is working on a new law to seize and scrap your old car if it doesn't meet the criteria. Their criteria. This is part of their climate agenda. The state will decide how long you will be able to own your car. You will own nothing and be happy, remember. The criteria are shocking. The EU has something called the End of Life Vehicles Directive, and they are looking to expand this to become so draconian that it reminds us something of what would have happened in the communist Soviet Union. And then he gets into more. I'll leave a link in the description down below where you can go check out this article for yourself. Now, this has been embarrassing for the Liberals across the globe as they went to the COP28 conference in the United Arab Emirates. David Staples writing this article for the Edmonton Journal. Trudeau Liberals and climate alarmists clobbered at Dubai Climate Conference. Yeah, net zero. Yeah, there's the net and there's the zero. Mr. Guilbeault is a big old zero with his environmental patient strategies for going after his invisible enemies and taking us all into socialism in the process. Now, I'll leave you a link for this in the description down below, but it's a great article talking about how embarrassing they were for all of us, essentially overseas, as the United Arab Emirates were saying, yeah, I don't know if the science is so clear on this. It's not looking so great. Anyway, Guilbeault to outline a plan today to phase in electric vehicle sales mandates. Yeah, that's right. Mandates. More mandates from the federal government. Doesn't that just sound great? It sounds so good. Guilbeault to outline a plan today to phase in electric car vehicle sales. Now, this is going to push it. So by 2026, you're going to have to get fully electric cars or plug-in hybrids. The 20% of all sales in Canada will have to be that by 2030. It'll be another percentage, and by 2035, it'll be all cars. All cars will have to be electric. Zero emissions. Sorry, but plug-in hybrids, they don't fall into that category if you're looking for zero emissions. A plug-in hybrid is still a hybrid. It still has an internal combustion engine. But here's the report from CTV News on this. They brought in their automotive journalist. I mean, I'm just an automotive technician. Maybe I don't fall in the journalist category. I just see things how they are from the ground level.
What are you expecting with the announcement?
Well, I mean, it's a good step in the right direction, but we need to know details of how we're going to get there. It's great to put out these numbers, but the fact of the matter is you can't force this technology on consumers. And when you look at it, there are many challenges to EV adoptions. One of them is the price, because the average price of an electric vehicle in Canada is almost $73,000. That's more than many Canadians can afford. Besides that, you also have a problem with the infrastructure or the lack of infrastructure in Canada. If Ottawa is to meet that target of 2035, there needs to be more than 400,000 public charging stations on the market. Right now, Roger, we only have about 25,000 across Canada. And I have to tell you, a lot of them are not fast chargers, so they will take you hours and hours to charge. They often aren't working properly. They're often not in very, safe or well-lit areas as well. So there are a lot of issues here. And as well, for people who want to charge at home, there are other stumbling blocks for them because getting a charger in a condo or multi-family dwelling is also very expensive and very cumbersome to do so.
It sounds like it's not a viable plan, is what she's saying in a short run. But this is where we're at with Canada now. Justin Trudeau is not very popular anymore in Canada, and it looks like Canadians are hoping to get rid of him. Well, we have this petition that went out. I'll leave a link to the petition. 354,000, almost 355,000 signatures to call for a vote of non-confidence in the House of Parliament. Now, Pierre Poilievre was recently on an interview with Andrew Lawton of True North, and he had this to say, and this one really just cracks me right up. There's not going to be a Liberal Party in the next election. That's just the case.
The other thing about our coalition is that there's not going to be a Liberal Party in the next election. Justin Trudeau, of course, is not a Liberal. He is a radical authoritarian. He's the opposite of Liberal. He's very illiberal. And so I'm going to be going to a lot of Liberal voters and say, this is not the party of Chrétien, Manley, Martin. This is a radical authoritarian diversion that you've never seen before and that you don't recognize. And let's vote for what was the common sense consensus of Canada before he came along.
It is very authoritarian, absolutely, to tell people they can't even have their cars anymore. And this is what it's going to come down to. It's only a matter of time before they announce that part of this. Now, most voters say Trudeau should resign and expect an election in 2024. Another article from Global News. The news just keeps breaking, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse for the Liberal government while they try to hold on to power. And I think the longer that Jagmeet Singh allows Trudeau to grasp onto this power, the less popular he's going to be in the next election, which we are looking to see. And, there's some contention on this subject, whether or not we're going to have another election in 2024, if it's not going to go the whole stretch and go right into 2025. But this is it's looking as if there might be one in the spring. But we'll see. It's still up in the air as of yet, even though all the parties are all planning for it, and all the parties are putting funds in towards that. Now, a friend of mine, Vesper Skill on Twitter, he put this out there, or on X as they call it now. I have a personal poll I'd like everyone to answer as honest as possible. I genuinely want to know what most Canadians want or prefer from Pierre Poilievre when he is elected. I mean, this is just the inevitability. He's going to be the next PM. Which of these is the most important to you as the first order of business for the new Prime Minister? Now, the poll's not finished. I'm going to leave a link in the description down below. You can go voice your opinion in this poll. It's an opinion poll anyway. But is it, and surprisingly, a lot of people are leaning towards the criminality of the Liberals. Axing the tax is on Pierre's platform. It's the number one thing on his platform. So obviously that's there as well. Housing and affordability. I think if all the other things are squared away, housing and affordability might come back. It might actually come back, because you'd have to also square away immigration. But I'll leave this opinion poll in the link in the description down below. You can go check it out, add some more opinions to that over there. But let me know what you think about this whole electric car thing. Do you like electric cars? I like electric cars, but I don't like anything being forced on people. If you want to get a thing, get it. That's fine. And we should watch these things as they are growing more and more popular. So I mean, emissions are being reduced. Are they being reduced? The life of an electric vehicle, if you look at some of the things, the lithium and the cobalt and all that stuff, they're not really all that much more environmentally friendly. At the end of the day, what would be the best thing? Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think, and we'll talk. We'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.